Meeting to order, 7:30. Moving on to public comment. Is there anybody that would like to speak on anything that's not on the agenda?
Good evening. My name is Suzanne Sibula. I'm the superintendent for East China School District, and I'm here this evening to share with you some information regarding the bond proposal that will be on the March 10th ballot. This bond proposal is for improvements to the East China School District facilities. The improvements would address our declining enrollment, our safety and security, our energy efficiencies in our buildings, and our technology. On the brochure that I've passed out, the front is explaining what the bond proposal will do for East China School District. And then if you open it all the way up so that you're looking at it this way, has gray and green, it outlines each of the program specifics for each of our school buildings. And a few of the notations I'd like to make are under the district-wide technology upgrades. Our district is in need of technology upgrades. We currently operate on the Windows 7 platform and cannot upgrade at this time. So we are in need of some upgrades that this bond proposal would provide for us. And a few of the highlights are electronic card reader type controlled entrances going back to that safety and security for our buildings, instructor devices, student devices, infrastructure technology, additional security cameras, and electronic textbooks or student devices. Then in looking at the bond highlights for each of our school buildings, each one of them would receive a safe and secure entrance for the enhanced safety in our buildings. Everything from the ceilings to the floors would be upgraded, including the roofs and the windows. In our elementary schools, they would receive all of the upgrades as the secondary buildings. Our Performing Arts Center would receive upgraded lighting and rigging and technology. And our stadium would receive some renovations as well, including the locker room renovations, an entrance renovation, new access road from the stadium area to King. And the guiding principles, which are all the way there on the right-hand side, is that the district continues to need to adjust itself to our declining enrollment. In 2001, the East China School District had just shy of 6,000 students. This year we have 3,979 students. So we're continually adjusting ourselves both in square footage and operations to that smaller number. We also, the average age of our school building is 53 years old, and we're in need of infrastructure and, as I mentioned earlier, technology upgrades. And in doing those things, what we're trying to do is, and I timed myself so I wouldn't go over my 3 minutes.
Oh, you can go over.
Okay. Thank you for that permission. Is that we're assuring that our students and staff have access to the most up-to-date interactive technology in their instruction and learning. Teaching and learning looks so very different than it used to, even when I was in school. Most of our curriculum is delivered electronically. And that's really neat because we can fine-tune it to the specific needs of a student instead of everybody looking at the same exact information. We can really drill down to the specific needs of individual students, everything from kindergarten on up. And as information changes for classrooms, we can get that changed in real time. It used to be you'd have to wait for a textbook upgrade. Now we get that right away and digitally, and it really is an improvement. But it's very different than how we're used to maybe seeing or remembering what our classrooms look like. So with our declining enrollment and aging infrastructure and needed technology upgrades, the bond proposal is looking to do all of that. If you open until you see where it says financial information, it has a couple of charts and graphs there, and I'll just take a minute to explain those. The one that has all of the school districts on the left-hand side with East China at the top and Anchor Bay at the bottom, those are the current millage rates for each of those school districts. East China's is 2.08. If this bond were to pass in March, our new millage rate would be 3.58, and you can see where we are in comparison with our surrounding districts. Districts that have recently passed bonds for capital improvements are Anchor Bay, Marysville, Richmond, and Port Huron. So all of those infrastructure and technology upgrades that I was talking about that this bond proposal has, those school districts have passed for their students. This chart here on the left, what we're trying to show here is that in summer of 2019, the millage rate for East China School District was 3.24. Since then, we've paid off 1 mil of debt, and property values have gone up a little bit, so we're at 2.08 for the winter tax millage rate. If this bond were to pass, the new rate would be 3.58, and from year to year, for summer 2019 to summer 2020, that would be a 0.34 increase from the previous year. So just trying to show that the value for these upgrades is there for this bond proposal. So we're hoping that our community can get the information, understand the needs, and help our district to make the improvements that are necessary in the infrastructure piece, in the technology piece, and in our student offerings. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I just don't want to go over the time that I've been given. Yes, sir.
I'm retired and I'm on a fixed income.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want to keep hearing about the schools want more money, more money, more money, more money.
Mm-hmm.
And you could take schools that you don't use anymore. There's what, 3 of them, 2 of them?
That we don't use?
Right.
We have 1 that's empty currently. Eddie
Which one is
Elementary.
that?
Pardon me?
Which one?
Eddie Elementary in St. Clair. It has an early childhood program in it right now that we're moving mid-February to central office, and then that building will be empty.
Why are you moving it?
So that we can sell or stop using that building. It's just another square footage, another electric bill, another light bill, another. What's that?
That's why I'm going to vote no.
Didn't we try closing, consolidating, and it defeated
Yeah.
it?
Well, we're trying to close school buildings because we don't need them anymore. We like I said, in 2001, the school district had almost 6,000 students. We now have 3,979. Next year will be 120 students less than we are right now because we graduate 100 more kids than we have coming in for the next 6 years. So why that's so important for a school district is because we receive our operational dollars based on the number of students that we have. So this year we have 353 seniors and 232 kindergartners. That's about 120 students less. The district receives $8,340 per student to operate its school buildings. To us, that's going to be just over $1 million less next year than we have this year. So we have to reduce our footprint. We have to use less square footage, and we have to get ourselves in a more efficient position. Our buildings, like I said, on average, are 53, almost 54 years old. Our youngest building in the school district is 20 years old. That's St. Clair Middle School, and that's the last time a bond was passed. So the school district asking for funds, what maybe you're feeling is they're trying to find the right plan that the community can support. But we have to pay for our schools. But they tried a small bond in 2016 that people felt just wasn't comprehensive enough, and the district needed to be looked at as a whole, and that was the feedback from that bond. 2019, we did a big comprehensive look at the school district and put that, and that was more than the community was comfortable with. So this bond, we're hoping, taking all of that feedback and understanding along with the needs of the district and put together a proposal that we're hoping, that the community can see the needs for the schools. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Don.
You want to transfer students from St. Clair down to the administration building. Is that correct?
It's a possibility if they want to take certain classes that we can't offer. See, as we get smaller, like I said, we're going to be 120 students smaller next year than we are this year. So what happens? What's that?
I don't understand why you want all the buildings to be put up.
The building that's going to be empty will be Eddy Elementary very soon.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to sell that facility. But as you get smaller, you can't offer kids as many opportunities for classes. So when, some of our, and I use advanced placement classes because they're usually the first to go because not many kids take those classes, so they go away faster as you get smaller. But it could be, right now we run a robotics class in St. Clair, but we don't run that in Marine City. If we offered it at a central location, at central office, both ends of the school district, our students could take advantage of that. We have a Science Olympiad team in Marine City, but not in St. Clair. If we offer that at the center location, then our kids, both ends of the school district, have that opportunity. We have a harder time, as we're getting smaller, offering our advanced language classes. You get up into Spanish 4 and 5, you just don't have enough students at both ends of the school district. You offer it in the center, and you can continue to offer that class for our students. As we get smaller, what we feel passionate about is continuing to offer opportunities for our students. Skilled trades has become a huge need in our communities, and if we can offer some classes at that central location that our students can take advantage of, some career exploration classes, that would be a really neat aspect of educating our students, is showing these different careers, but it's hard to duplicate them on each end of the district as we get smaller. It just gets more difficult.
Why can't you just take students and move them around to different schools instead of them coming down to the administration building?
Well, you're going to have to build the facilities at either end. You would have had to put them at St. Clair.
And we're not going after an architectural award, are we?
No, we're trying to
I hope
offer
not.
opportunities for our students. I have a daughter in this school district. I graduated from this school district, and we need to give our kids every advantage and introduce them to every opportunity. And because of our declining enrollment, we're getting smaller. And so those opportunities go away by that nature.
School board says that every time you want an election. It's for the betterment of the students, for the betterment of the students. It goes on and on and on.
And it's been about 28 years for me. And everything I do is to help kids get a leg up, get every opportunity so that they can live the type of life that they want. And if you limit opportunities, that gets harder.
Question I see on all the buildings you're gonna do, and you mentioned it, ceilings and floors. What is wrong with all the ceilings and floors? I guess I don't understand.
They just need to be updated. Some of the floors, like Marine City Complex, portions of that building are 70 years old, and we've just got some heaving, and we need to level it out a little bit. When we're talking about the electrical, that all needs to be upgraded throughout our facilities.
So they'll put all that in the ceiling and drop it?
Same as the technology. There's now technology being such a big part of school upgrades. There's the teaching technology that your teachers will use. There's the computers and devices that your students will use. But then there's everything in the walls and the ceilings that helps to deliver the technology. So there's three pieces of that when we're looking at the upgrades.
Okay. And what about these any entrances and that, vestibules, what is
Yep.
that?
That's just reworking the front of a school building. Right now, any new school building or renovated building, you don't walk right into the facility itself. Right now, we have buzzers, so you get buzzed into the building. What these entry vestibules do, it's a two-part system. So you get buzzed into the entry area, and one of the secretaries in the office will be sitting there, and they'll greet you, have you sign in, state your business for being in the building, and then they buzz you into the school itself. You don't get buzzed right into the facility. So it's a safety feature that has become a part of school business.
I have a question. I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer this, but the group of individuals that are advertising for voting no, Can you give me an answer as to what they consider a special interest? I see these signs through our community, and they point that out pretty
Yep.
well,
Yeah.
that they're concerned about special interests. Can you
I wish.
tell me what their, I guess, opinion of a special interest is? in
I
this
wish I
situation?
could elaborate for you. I've actually reached out and asked if they could enlighten me as to what they're referencing. I do not know. I do not know what it is that the special interest that's on those signs is referring to. We've been talking to DTE, and I made that known many months ago that we were writing a grant. And we submitted our grant application. We're hoping that they'll support us in East China School District. But that was a grant application that we write grants to Cargill, we write grants to General Motors, we write grants to East China Education Foundation. So it's the same grant cycle. And I don't know if maybe me saying that we're writing a grant with DTE that might have triggered that thought. We don't know. We've asked. What it is that they're referencing, and I wish someone from that group could share with me so I could have a conversation.
But it is a grant that DTE is offering.
Yes, it's through the DTE Foundation, so it's not to the well, it is, I guess, the company, but they have a foundation, just like the St. Clair County Community Foundation or the East China Education Fund. We wrote a grant to the foundation. Asking for some help with our engineering classes that we offer. We offer engineering classes at both St. Clair High and Marine City High. There's an introduction to those engineering classes that would go into our middle schools, but they're very expensive, and we need help to do that. So in order for us to offer those middle school engineering classes next year, we wrote a grant to DTE.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with the drives, the parking lots, and the sidewalks?
We have some severe problems with our parking lots, our curbs, and our sidewalks. They're crumbling. We have big gaps that we've been filling in year to year, but they need to be updated, upgraded.
You should have several things. You should upgrade locker rooms, remodel pool area, relocate baseball field, rebuild tennis courts.
The
Replace
Marine
all the
City,
cement and drives. I mean, that's a lot of money going on just to
yeah,
frivolous as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, the Marine City tennis courts, they can't compete on them right now. They need to be upgraded. And so when I talk about offering opportunities to students, that students who play on the tennis team, I feel should have a tennis court that they can play on. And so when we look at those things, each one of them has been evaluated as far as opportunities for our students. We need to be able to attract families to our school district. We need to be able to offer opportunities for our students who are here. We don't want them looking elsewhere. I would like them here with us.
You got another one here, remodel entrance, ticket, and concession building for increased safety. How many people we had run over out there?
We had a lady that accidentally hit the gas and went into our bathrooms there at the concession stand.
Just one person, about many
Well,
thousands go out
But
there.
we were very fortunate that there was no one else, that she didn't hit anybody. But that is a safety feature that was identified, because when you are up there getting a ticket, the cars park right behind you. And so it's not a big financial outlay, it just bumps back the entrance so that people can't park right up against folks. There's a lot of safety features that we've been exploring, as schools have changed. Schools, the way our days function, when I started in administration, doesn't look like the way it does now.
Okay. Who came up with all these? Did you have a committee, or?
It's been since 2015, when they looked at the bond that went out in 2016, they had community. I was actually the principal at Marine City High School at the time, and I served on the committee that explored that bond proposal. So that was committee work. And then after the 2016 bond did not pass, and our community said, you need to look at a more comprehensive look at this district. You have severe declining enrollment, aging buildings, and so on. the district decided to partner with the Michigan Association of School Boards to do the strategic planning process. It's a very specific and labor-intensive process of committee work and meetings that discuss the current challenges of your school district and where you want to head as a school district with your current enrollment. And so that committee, those strategic planning committees met for about 9 months that led us to the bond steering committee for the last bond that met for another 6 months. So it's all been committee-driven, and that's why for this bond proposal, it's taking in all of the feedback and all of the community concerns and desires for their school district to develop this one after a couple failed ones.
Okay. Debbie, anything? Herb, any more?
Anything? Thank you. Thank you.
I have a comment, not a question. I would just like to commend you, Susan, and your board for the countless number of hours that you guys have put in trying to gain support for this bond. You know, as a parent that has 3 kids have gone through the school and 1 going through the school, I've had an opportunity to go into other schools and other areas to find out what they have to offer their kids. And there is no doubt that Marine City is behind, way behind, on their infrastructure and on their technology. So everybody can say what they want to say, what's happened in the past and where the money is going to. The bottom line is this is for our kids. This is for our kids to gain advancement, to have the technology, to have the better tools when they go on to college. It not only affects the school district, but it affects our municipalities. Families will move into a good school district that has something to offer for their kids. If they don't have something to offer that, the kids are not coming to Marine City. So if the bond does not pass, then there's going to be repercussions following when the bond doesn't pass. And I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be real pretty out there. So we don't want families moving out of our district, moving out of our township to go to other schools. Again, it's very important that the kids get the education that they deserve to get ready to go to college and be more prepared. We have leaks in our ceilings. The infrastructure is dwindling in the school districts. The technology is not where it should be. I mean, we had our technology here in the past year since you've come in, Cindy. I think we've done more to our township hall than they've done in that school district. So again, we've done it to better our township and to make us be more proactive. And I just feel that, and again, this is my opinion, but I feel this is something that has to happen, and it has to happen for our kids. It's not for us. I don't have a horse in this race after June. But again, I am going to continue to support the school district just to, again, to have a better education for our kids and to bring more people to our municipalities. And again, I thank you for the hard work that you guys have done.
Thank you for your comments. I appreciate it, and thank you for your time.
Yeah. Oops, he has one more.
I have one more question. It says provide flexible, functional furnishings for enhanced student learning. How does that work?
Right now, the furniture that is in the buildings, I think, was probably original to the facilities. Now, in teaching and learning, the furniture, we begged, borrowed, and gotten as many tables as we can. We don't. Students now do it in a collaborative learning environment where they work together, just like you do in the business world, where people sit around a table in conference and work things through. That is how learning happens now, especially at the secondary level. We work around tables. When they do, like our engineering classes, they don't have desks. They work almost like we did when we had wood shop, and they have the big desks, and the students problem solve around these desks and do it in a collaborative nature. And so the furniture that we need to do that at the high schools and middle schools looks differently than what we have in our classrooms now. For elementary students, and you'll see that most of our elementary classrooms, they have done this through grant work. Through the East China Education Foundation, through the St. Clair County Community Foundation, they've gotten grants for the flexible furniture in their classrooms. But the district would like to be able to provide that furniture for them, and it gives students choice. My 4th grade daughter, when she walks into her classroom, they have a choice of the seating that is most comfortable for them, or where they learn best. And the research, if you need, to read that, is astounding. The difference that it makes for students when they feel comfortable in their learning environment. So like I said, we've done a lot of it through grant work, and that will come with us. But we'd like to supply it for all of our teachers It gets great results for our kids.
I'd like to say too, that I think we as community leaders and residents of the school district, that we have to support the schools. We had an incident where, we had a person come into the town and to work here, and they asked about the schools, they checked out the schools, they end up going to another school district because this one wasn't adequate. So there's a person that's not gonna invest in our school district. But I think, I know everybody says the lottery is supposed to pay for all the schools, but it doesn't. I think it's supposed to, and the money we get from the state, that excludes the buildings, right?
It's operational dollars, yes.
Operational dollars, not structures.
Not structural.
Okay.
Yep.
And I think we have to make that clear, that we as taxpayers are gonna have to pay for the structures.
And the reason for that two-part funding model after Proposal A in Michigan was because you own, as a community, you own your school buildings. They belong to your communities. And the communities are, it's set up so that you pay for them, you own them, so that if they're sold or if you want to use them for a different function, they belong to you. They don't belong to, Lansing or the Michigan Department of Education. So after Proposal A, that funding model where that we get paid per pupil for our operational dollars, the other half of that is the capital piece, and that is that the communities pay for, through bonding, for their buildings and the upgrades to their buildings. That's why you saw on that chart, all those other school districts have done that for their school buildings, because they belong and are part of our communities.
Okay.
Thank you again, I appreciate it.